So welcome to our second SUI Library Directors Retreat 2020 session, Reset Yoga at Work session with Kelly TerKeurst. This session is sponsored by the Southeastern Wisconsin Library Systems, Arrowhead Library System, Bridges Library System, Kenosha County Library System, Lake Shores Library System, Milwaukee County Federated Library System, and Monarch Library System. So working as a library director means handling lots of problems throughout the day. Sometimes those stresses build up and keeping your focus becomes difficult. Kelly TerKeurst knows what that's like. She was a library director in our SUI region a few years ago at Dwight Foster Public Library in Fort Atkinson. She's also a yoga practitioner and is here to share some yoga stretches you can do right at work that will help you give both your mind and body a reboot. Kelly has been living in the UK for a few years now, so stay toward the very end and she will tell you what's happening with some of the public libraries in her neck of the UK woods and how they are handling the pandemic and library services. So welcome, or should I say welcome back, Kelly, and I will let you begin.
Great. Thank you, Lori. And, thanks to SUI and hello, everybody that's out there, all the wonderful libraries in Southeastern Wisconsin. It's great to be a part of this and to have some contact with you. I miss you a lot. Loved my time in Fort Atkinson and in Jefferson. And again, it's great to make a connection. So what I had planned for today, well, first of all, you're in my lounge, the back lounge of our house. We live in a council house, basically, so it's like a row house. All the houses are attached or semi-detached, attached. We've got a front lounge and then our kitchen and then the way back lounge. And and I have two dogs, so you may see them wandering in and out, one in particular, the little one. So hopefully they'll behave themselves today. I'm going to, well, first of all, keep calm. We have cheese. Yay, Wisconsin! I am going to show you some poses, stretches that you can do at your desk in a chair. And then from there, I will show you some standing poses that you can do and maybe a few on the floor. And I know Lori sent the handout out to you guys. I'm not going to go through everything. I will the chair ones, but not everything else. And included in the handouts were a little description, how to do it, the benefits, and then also a few little facts and figures, some interesting links, web links that you might enjoy reading about sitting at your desk or just sitting all day, and what it does to your body and how you need to move around a bit. And of course, as we go along, if there are any questions, Lori will pose them to me. And once we finish up the stretching portion of our evening, because it's after 5 o'clock here, so your morning, I will talk a little bit about libraries here in the UK. I'll just talk a little bit about where I live and give you an idea of what we're going through here with the pandemic that's going on. So, and how the UK is handling that. So let's begin. I'm going to step aside and kind of have a chair and a desk here. So for starters, we're going to sit in our chairs and just rest our hands on our thighs and breathe a little bit. So one of the things, the major thing really with yoga is to combine the breath and movement together. And when you are, stressed, a lot is going on in your life, whether it's at home, at work, both, you're, maybe just taking too short of breaths or you're forgetting to breathe. So to mindfully just take a moment relax, try and clear your mind if you can, and inhale and exhale through your nose can help calm the body down. So you're at work, you're feeling stressed, you need to stretch. You take a few moments, and before we start breathing, what I like to do is inhale through the nose and then really exhale through the mouth a deep sigh. So we can all do this together. So we'll inhale through the nose and just let it out. Do it again. And again. Closing your eyes, sitting comfortably in your chair, your feet are flat on the floor. And breathing slowly and deeply in and out through your nose. Relaxing your head, relaxing your forehead, your jaw, your mouth. Maybe thinking about a happy place for you. Maybe thinking about a blank page and any thoughts that come racing into your head get written down on that blank page. And as they're written down, they disappear. And then from here, we're going to try something called box breath. So with your breathing, certainly you can take as much time as you need, or as little time as you need or have. Taking a few minutes to actually sit and breathe would be great. You don't have to do it for half an hour. Of course, if you can spend 20 to 30 minutes a day doing some deep breathing, relaxing in a quiet place if possible, dim lights, so on, much more beneficial for you. The box breath is a breath that you will inhale for a count, hold the breath for a count, and then exhale for a count. Now, we'll just do a little bit of this. If it makes you nervous, anxious to hold your breath for any count, please don't, just breathe normally. But this not only just helps you pay attention to your breathing, but because you're focusing on the count, it can also clear your mind a little bit, kind of redirect the focus. So what I thought we could do is just for a few rounds, let's say 5, we will inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and then exhale for a count of 4. So let's give it a try. So again, sitting comfortably, and we'll inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and now hold that breath. 2, 3, 4, and then exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhaling through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, holding the breath at the top, 2, 3, 4, exhaling through the nose, 2, 3, 4. We'll do it one more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. And now just take a regular breath. Breathe normally as you would. And again, you can do this throughout the day. You can work up to taking longer counts. Some of the yoga I've done here, we will, inhale for a count of 8, hold for a count of 15, exhale for a count of 8. Start small and work up to something bigger. But again, the breath, paying attention to your breath, it really helps to clear the mind and helps you to focus. So breathing, good for you, however you can do that. Getting into some movements, I thought we would kind of start from the top and work our way down. So you're sitting at your desk, probably maybe a little hunched over, your head is protruding. You want to work on those neck muscles, the shoulder muscles. So we'll work on some head movements, doing yes and no. So slowly going to the right and left in a no. And really just taking your time to feel the stretch, feel how you feel throughout your body. You can close your eyes when you do it or keep them open. And then some yes. And again, taking your time, really feeling that stretch along the back of the neck, upper back, lifting your chin towards the ceiling, and coming back to center, and then some head circles, going in one direction. Doing that a few times, and then switching your direction. My head's cracking, or my neck is cracking, not my head. And coming back to center. Tilting your head to the right and keeping your shoulders down. Just feel a nice stretch along that left side. Take your right hand and place it on the left side of your head and let the weight of your hand bring your head down a little bit. And then take that left arm out and point your fingers up towards the ceiling. So you're getting a stretch in the neck, the tendons in your wrist, your lower arm. Breathing here. And then back up to center. And then dropping your ear towards the left. Bringing your hand up. Gently letting it pull the head down and bringing that right arm out. And pointing those fingers up towards the ceiling. And back to center. Hopefully you're feeling good with that. Again, if you have neck issues, go to the spot that works for you. So I guess I should take a step back here and say all the movements that I've got planned for today and the ones that are on the sheet. If you've got injuries, restrictions in the body, you know your body best. So you go to your edge. This isn't a competition or a race. This is just to get you all stretched out so you feel better, a little re-energized, a little more relaxed throughout your day. Working on our shoulders, taking the right shoulder and just doing some circles to the back, and then bringing that shoulder forward And then switching arms. And then both shoulders forward. And really just stretch them out and forward. And then bring those shoulders up to your ears and let them down. And bring them up, let them down. And bring them up, let them down. Some elbow circles. Bringing your arms out, airplane arms, and then bringing your fingertips to your shoulders. We're going to bring our elbows, trying to get them to touch in front of us, and then inhale our arms, or elbows up towards the ceiling, exhale down, making some circles. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, and exhale down. And then switching direction. And coming back to center. You can do these, of course, as many times as you want throughout the day. And one of the things that's nice about all of the movements that I've written down for you and I'm showing you, you'll probably find that only some of them work for you. Or Monday, you're feeling, extra tired and you want to do a whole bunch of things. And Tuesday afternoon, you think, you know what, my neck is killing me, so I need to do that. So what's nice is you can mix and match, do what works for you. Some wrist and finger stretches. These are great. And certainly you're at your computers all day. I'm not anymore, which life is so different now. The jobs I have, I'm on my feet all day, actually, which has been tough. But I do a lot of yoga, and so my wrists do hurt quite often. So here's a few stretches that I found that are really helpful. We're going to do prayer stretches. So bringing your hands in a prayer, and then what you're going to do is basically push your hands down and take a few breaths. You're going to feel stretch in the wrists, probably the upper arms, maybe your shoulders. And then coming back up, and then invert your prayer. So fingers pointing down, and then lifting up. Yeah, I feel that. Taking a few breaths here. And bring your arms out in front of you. And I'm going to start with taking my right arm to my left hand and pulling my fingers towards my face. Again, going to your edge, what works for you. With all of these, holding for a few breaths. And go, and then switching sides. And really stretching the tendons, stretching your fingers out. And now turn your palms up and pull your fingers down. And switch sides. And let go. Right. Just make fists and splay your fingers, jazz hands. Great. And clasp your hands together. We're going to do some wrist rolls. And this took me trying to, wait a minute, wrist rolls? I can't roll my wrist. Almost like you're doing a figure 8. So your arms get to move with this too. Roll And then try and switch direction. Don't chew gum at the same time while you're doing this. Awesome. And then just kind of wiggle it out. A pose that's really, really good for opening up the shoulders, stretching the arms, stretching the hands, are eagle arms or eagle pose arms. So we'll have our arms out in front. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cross our right arm over our left. So we're kind of crossing at the elbow. And you're going to twirl and wrap your arms together. Now, I've been doing yoga for a long time, so I can get my palms to touch. You may be able to do that too and have never done yoga. Hooray! If you can bring them where the backs of your hands are together, that's great. If they're out like this, that's great because chances are you're really getting a stretch. So, show you at the side. So lift your chin up and you want your arms away from your body. We're not punching in. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to slowly lift our elbows up. Taking a few breaths here. And then coming back down. All right, you've got to do the other side. Bringing your arms out front, crossing the left over the right, and then twisting your arms together. Sitting tall in your chair, arms away from the body, and inhale, bringing those elbows up. And slowly coming back down and shaking them up. Great. I hope you are all doing well so far. And that you are feeling stretched out and not in pain. So some lateral side bends in your chair. So taking your right hand and holding onto the seat of your chair, we're going to inhale our left arm up and slowly bend to the right. Now the key here is to keep your feet firmly planted on the ground. So coming more to the edge of your chair is going to help. And you're not wanting to lift up. So you're keeping the glutes engaged. You're keeping your butt on your seat, stretching over. Your gaze can go up towards the ceiling. It can be straight ahead. And then coming back down and switching sides. Inhaling back up, switch sides again. Inhaling up and coming back over. And inhaling up. Great. Now with the lateral side bends, certainly if you're much more flexible, really get it in there. But even if you're not, even if this is the best you can do, that's great because you're getting a stretch, you're feeling a stretch along the side of your body. So it's not a yoga routine without cat and cow. And you can do these while you're seated, which is great. So sitting on the edge of your seat, feet firmly planted. Good to have that 90-degree, angle here between your thighs and lower legs. Placing your hands on your thighs or on your knees. And on an inhale, we're going to start with cow. So we're going to kind of lift the tailbone, lift the chin, and on an exhale into cow. So we're going to tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone in. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Let's do 3 more of these. And again, going at your own pace with your breath. Oh, my back is cracked. And when you're done, just coming back to center. Cat cow is great. Doing it on the floor is amazing. So if you do get a chance to, take some time, I know a lot of you are probably working from home, so you have more flexibility in terms of, being barefoot, being splayed all over your floor. No one to peek in around the corner and go, oh my God, my director is doing something. But just to, just to throw that in, and I'm guessing a lot of you have done yoga, so you'll know this. But just, coming into a table position. And so when you do it on the floor, pressing firmly into the ground, your fingers are spread wide. And it looks like this cow and this cat. So you get a little bit more range of motion here when you are on the floor.
Great. Okay. Here we are.
Okay. Back bends are, really great, helping to open up the chest with your breathing, shoulders, your lower back. So what we're going to do is just grab on to your seat. Again, feet firmly planted on the floor, taking an inhale. And as you exhale, just kind of arch back. Going to your edge, you can let your head drop if that feels good. So you're stretching your neck. And then coming back slowly forward. So that's always, I think of myself when I was at my desk at Fort. And, first of all, it's good to get up and walk around, or change position every 15 minutes or so. When I was at uni, for us, it was, I think, every 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. And that stuck in my head. And then recently I read, every 15 minutes you should. And I know when I worked at Fort, I would just want to get out of my office and just walk around the building or something. But some of the movements that I'm showing you here today are ones that I would do as well, just to kind of get the kinks and clicks and stuff going and out of your body. So forward folds, inversions are really great for your whole system, getting the head below the heart. Again, if you have heart issues, not a good idea. But inversions really, just bring that oxygen, our fresh blood to the head, circulating it through the body. It helps with insomnia, anxiety, stress, depression. I guess if you could hang upside down, every day, that'd be great. But we can't all hang upside down, but we can do forward folds, wide leg forward folds. So when you're seated, wide leg forward fold, just bring your legs apart. Now, this one is especially nice because what you also will do is you will take your hands behind your back, clasp your fingers together, and you'll be pulling your arms away from your body. So you're not only going to get the forward fold, the inversion going on, but you're also, again, opening the chest, stretching the shoulders, really stretching your hands. So bringing your hands behind you, clasping them together, and then pulling them away from the body. Inhaling, growing tall, and as you exhale, slowly come forward. And just let your head hang. So let the weight of the head just drop. In your hands, just bring them up and really pull those shoulders back. This is a great stretch. You're going to feel it in your neck, in your shoulders, in your chest. Folding forward, you'll feel it in your lower back. Taking a few breaths. And then coming back up. So that was the wide leg forward fold. Just doing a regular forward fold or the roll downs that are on the handout as well. You can take your time going down and then slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time, which always feels really great. Doing these standing is, of course, wonderful. You get up off of your seat, bringing hands to hips, and then coming forward, especially for tight hamstrings. This is great. Again, something you can do in your office. Get out of your chair, go forward. If you have a little issue, the hamstrings are really tight, your body is just killing you. You got your chair, you can hold on. You got your desk, just always hold on to that. With a bend in the knees, you don't have to be straight-legged, go down. Bend your knees, be kind to your body. And just slowly start to straighten the legs if you can, one leg at a time. It's really nice. One of my favorite poses, you can do this laying on your back, you can do it seated, is seated figure four. So again, you're in your chair, comfortable. You're going to take your right foot, basically right ankle, and bring it over your left knee. Now, if you're laughing and saying, yeah, right, I can't do that. Well, come as close as you can. If just cross it, even your calf, part of your calf, whatever. But the closer you can get the ankle to the knee, the better, because you're really going to feel a stretch in the hip flexor on the right hand side. Now, if you're fairly flexible and this works for you, to get a more intense stretch, start to fold forward. And you'll really feel that pull in that right hip flexor. Breathing into those spaces. And then coming out. And then switching sides. Oh yeah. And this is great even when you're standing all day and not doing, moving around too much. Just feeling that stretch. Fantastic. The sit and stand chair is kind of nice, again, to get you up off of your seat. You're sitting, and then consciously, you're going to stand up. You're not going to use your arms. You're going to use your legs, your glutes, pressing firmly into the ground with your feet. Slowly coming up. And then making sure your seat's right there. Slowly coming down. And doing that a few times. Really stretching out the legs, stretching out the lower back. Trying to do it slowly, consciously, with intention is nice. Twisting, any kind of twists are great. They're great for the digestive system. They're invigorating and calming. It's wonderful. So in your chair, you're going to take your right hand and you're going to grab the back of your chair or the side, depending on what your chair is like. Taking your left hand to your right knee, inhale, you'll grow tall in your seat. And on an exhale, you'll twist to the right. Inhaling, growing tall. And exhale, twisting. And then we'll inhale and come back to center. And then switching sides. Right hand to left knee, inhale, growing tall. Exhaling, twisting. Inhale, growing tall. And exhaling. And back to center. And again, you can do this on the ground. You're laying on the ground, on your back, your knees into your chest, and you can, you'll twist side to side, which feels absolutely wonderful. So let's get up out of our seat and just do a few poses from the standing sheet. And this may be something, certainly, even before any of these chair movements, you just want to get out of your seat and shake out your body. So just shake your hands, shake your legs. Again, this always looks good. If your staff come by and you're jazz hands, you're having a good time. Bring your arms up. Woo, really awakens the body. It just invigorates. And one of the gals I take yoga from we always start our class this way. And then what I love, another pose I love is the swing. So you can stand with feet a little more than hips width distance apart, have some bend in your knees, and then you're just going to swing your arms to the side. And really, this is great for your lower back. And then slow yourself down. Taking your arms out front, bringing them up overhead, and clasping your hands together, and then turning your palms up towards the sky. Stretch up, reach up, and then come up on your toes. And then come down, and go back up again, and come down, and back up again, and come down. Always feels really great. Reach for the sky. Mountain pose with cactus arms. I'm going to show you cactus arms and cow face arms. Again, arms, shoulders. Mountain pose, you're standing tall, straight, feet firmly on the ground, really pressing into the ground, a little micro bend in the knee. And you'll bring your arms up, basically it's goalpost arms. And really just bring those shoulders back, opening up the chest. You can take a few breaths here. And then from here, we'll do something called cow face arms. You'll notice one side is probably more flexible than the other. So what we'll be doing is you will take your right arm, so your elbow is pointing up towards the sky. Your left arm will come around and you'll try to get them to touch. You'll feel an intense stretch in the neck, the shoulders, the arms. Slowly let go. And then switching sides. Now I can't do it on this side, so this is how close I get here. And stretch. And coming back. Great. All right. So I've talked a lot about chair poses, some standing poses. You'll find your favorite ones out of all of these different ones. You know, whatever's going to work for you throughout the day. You know, I would suggest doing wrist and hand stretches every hour just to keep things moving. You know, your neck and head. If you can do some forward folding, just letting your body hang, letting the head hang and be heavy is going to be great for you. You know, shaking out the body, just doing that, getting up and walking around, definitely going to be, you know, beneficial, just maybe give you that little jolt that you need. And I think from this point, because of time, I think I will feel free to ask Kelly any questions. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I just posted to the attendees if they have questions for you in some of those yoga poses, or some tips or things regarding that, they can put in the Q&A box. In the chat, you will also see a list of the links to the handouts that Kelly had mentioned regarding the standing poses or stretches, the chair stretches, and some of her yoga notes too. These will all be posted in the SUI archives site too. And Kelly, I have to admit, I was doing this along with you, and I'm more stiff than I used to be.
You know what's interesting, Lori, is that my husband, I was practicing with him, and he, you know, was working at a computer all day, you know, just like you guys are. And you know, he's doing things, and when he did the eagle arms, you know, he doesn't have a lot of movement, so he's, you know, kind of like the, you know, like this, and you know, I could tell it was really kind of hurting him. And I just said, do what, you know, go to your edge, whatever. I said, what you're doing is great because you're feeling it. And the next day, you know, because he was like, oh, I don't know if you want to show people that. Oh. And the next day he said, you know what? That really helped. And for him to say that, you know, it was like, okay, it like loosened something. And, you know, he had a little more movement. So, you know, doing these types of things over time is certainly going to help. Because chances are the first time you start doing them, you're going to be hurting because you're tense. Your body is tense. You're in one position for a long period of time. And even if you don't think that you're tense, you are. And when you start to, you know, move and, you know, just kind of stretch things out, your body needs to, you know, get used to that and slowly start loosening up. Yeah.
Great.
So, yeah. Do you want me to talk about?
Sure. So since we don't have any questions coming in, so we can go ahead and move on.
Yeah, sure. So thanks, you guys. I hope that you find, you know, some of these positions, stretches, so on, helpful to you. Some of them you may already know. You may already have done these kinds of things. I put on the handout some interesting yoga poses for various issues, like, you know, specifically for hamstrings or shoulder and neck, anxiety. And a lot of the same poses are shown over and over again. So the cat cow, downward facing dog, A lot of you probably know what that is. You've seen it. But you can do it with your chair, which is really nice. So if you can't get on the floor and do your down dog, which I don't know if you can see here, you can take your chair and hold on to push it away and hold on to the seat, and then just step away and kind of let your head hang between your hands. And you can at the same time, be walking out your feet. So you're coming up on your toes, you're stretching your legs a little bit. So again, down dog is great, having that inversion and so on. So yeah, good stuff. So I hope you do find it helpful. So gosh. So here I am in the UK, and it's been an interesting journey. I don't work in libraries anymore. I volunteer at our local public library, which is a lovely little library. And wow, what to tell you. So I live in a town called Lymington, spelled Lymington. We're way down south, right at the, if you're looking at a map of the UK, we're down way at the bottom on the water. The Isle of Wight is right across from us. So you can take a ferry to get across to the Isle of Wight, which is a lovely place. Right now, there are a couple places in the UK that are tier 1. So here in the UK with the pandemic, we are locked down. We've had lockdowns. So things have been a lot stricter here than they have been in the States. We just got out of our second lockdown actually a few days ago. Basically that meant where non-essential shops were all closed. So if you needed to go grocery shopping, you could do that. If you wanted to get a takeaway coffee, you could do that. But you couldn't go shopping at the mall, you couldn't go to the gym to work out. All sorts of things were closed. So we just opened, and so now the high street is all like bustling and everybody's excited because they can spend money. But now that we're out of lockdown, we are in tier 2. The UK is, it can get very complicated. So to try and make it simple, the UK as a whole is England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland all have their own lockdown rules. Here in England right now, England is divided into 3 tiers. Tier 1 is the lowest, so less restrictions. And there are only 3 spots in the UK that are tier 1, the Isle of Wight being one of them. So they have a very low rate of the virus. Tier 2 is the middle tier. So we have restrictions such as, I'm trying to think, you can't meet with other people outside your household. So if I wanted to go have coffee with friends, I can't do that, which has been really hard because there are a few people that I know that, we like to meet for coffee and we're not allowed. Tier 3 is the worst, and a large part of the country is in tier 3. So you have to wear masks in all places. So that is mandatory, really. And places will not serve you, or you will not be allowed to come in if you are not wearing a mask. If you do have issues, health issues, you're given a lanyard that is significant that says or lets people know you don't wear a mask, and that's okay. So that's kind of what's going on with that. With the libraries here, so Hampshire County is, Lymington is in Hampshire County, and we have one of the largest library systems in the UK. There's 48 libraries with, I want to say, I think it's like 500, close to 500 employees, but 1,200 volunteers. The libraries in the UK are council run, for the most part, public libraries. So that means whether you rent or own a house, you pay council tax. And it doesn't matter how fancy your house is and stuff. So it's different. It's similar to a property tax in the US, but different. And your council tax supports libraries, museums, garbage pickup, things like that. And so the councils pay for the library service. And what has happened recently is that the Hampshire County Council was facing an £80 million budget decrease. And so that has to be rectified by April of 2021. So £80 million across all different council services. The libraries were taking an almost £2 million cut. And so what they are doing is, and this was a big deal, we had a booklet on what to do. The communities were very concerned because it was either closing libraries or cutting staff and services and so on, and they're closing libraries is what they're doing. What ends up happening with a lot of libraries here in the UK, communities will take them over. But a lot of times the communities don't get any support from the council. So for example, there's a small town called Milford that's not too far from here. And their library is going to end up being community run. They are fundraising so they can, have the building open, have some materials. They have no computer access to a library catalog. So there's no support whatsoever, and it's volunteer run. And so what you end up finding here in the UK is a lot of the jobs are part-time and they're temporary assignments. So it might be for a year, year and a half, depending. And volunteers do a lot of the work as well. So quite a big difference than at least what I saw in Wisconsin when I was there, where, if all of a sudden you turn to having volunteers run things, then gosh, why do you need paid staff? So here, of course, you don't worry about insurance because we're all on the NHS. So you get healthcare. Yeah, it's been very interesting. So the library here in Leamington was locked down until July, beginning of July. And then they slowly started to reopen with things like click and collect. So they would do ready reads. They had something where online you could fill out a form and say, hi, I'm Kelly. I love to read mysteries, British mysteries, which I do. Could you find 3 or 4 books for me? And they, the staff there would collect them, put them in a bag and have them waiting for you. When things started to reopen more, again, our community is about 16,000 people. And so there's only 3 public internet stations that were open, 3 tables. And you had to book your time, so no walk-ins. You could walk in and browse. You could stay in the library for half an hour. You could not sit and read the paper. You couldn't study, do homework, none of that kind of stuff. Books were quarantined for 72 hours, which I think you guys had the same. So it started to open up. Things are opening. They were doing some things online, some story times and Lori the librarian, from her garden, showing you how to, plant some geraniums, just kind of sweet things like that, like what you do. And then we had our lockdown again in November. And so then, you know, you can't go in. That is still going on, even though we've moved into tier 2 and the lockdown ended. They're hoping to have the library back to kind of what we had this summer in mid-December. So, you know, hopefully you can go in and browse, and I can go back and volunteer. But yeah, it's been very difficult. It's very difficult for the staff. People that I know at the Leamington Library who are hired on temporary contracts, the contracts are ending. And so they're losing their jobs. And, you know, so again, they're trying to rethink things, you know, the circulation, just like, you know, what we were dealing with in Wisconsin. You know, let's see, I've got this little factoid for you. If I can find it. Yeah, so just things like spending in libraries in the UK has been cut by more than 250 million pounds in the last 10 years. That's really when David Cameron was prime minister and they put in austerity measures, kind of hearkening back to, you know, in 2008 when things were falling apart in the States financially in the economy. And here they put in austerity measures because around that time in 2010, the UK government bailed out the banks. And so they had to cut money somewhere. And so, you know, they cut a lot of services. Sorry, guys. And so you've got that kind of situation going on. And then just in the library in general, you know, again, like I was just saying with Wisconsin, you know, and circulations, and we're dealing with that every year. Which, by the way, money is not dependent on that here. The councils are required to have library service. They're required to have something that's within 20 to 30 minutes of where people live. So, and again, the money comes from the council tax. So, however, if you're an underperforming library where you know, aren't circulating very much, hardly any visitors, chances are you're going to be in a tier where you're going to, you know, the end is nigh. At the same time, if you're in an area that is kind of with an underserved population, there's poverty and so on, they will try and keep a library running. So in 2010, close to 7 million items circulated throughout the Hampshire Library Service. In 2019, only 5 million items circulated. You know, so circus down. The age, the demographics here, people over 65, that is going up, and children, that is going up too. So I know when I worked at Fort, same kind of thing. You know, we were serving the older population and kids. And, you know, you'll get the young people coming in during half term to study and so on and so forth. But you can't do that now. You know, you can't use the library as a Wi-Fi, go in with your computer. Yeah, so it's been very, very tough. But people really do care about their libraries, but they're different here, certainly, than they are in the US. And I have to say, working for the system in Wisconsin was amazing compared to what we have here. You guys are so lucky. You have no idea. Everything costs, you know, putting things on reserve, you know, fines keep going up. You know, it's just the selection is limited. It's really hard. It's really hard, but the money's not there to support these things. So
Well, thanks, Kelly. That's an interesting view of what the libraries are like in the UK. Kelly did send me a photo this morning of the Leamington Public Library, so I'm just doing a share right now so you can see. Does everybody see it? Kelly, you can see it, right?
I can see it. Yes, I
All
took
right.
it on my way into the high street this morning. So the library is really close to where I live. And one nice thing that they have now, and I don't know if you guys have this in Wisconsin yet. So if you do, awesome. They have you can be at home if because we don't have a printer at home, so I can be at home and they have a function where you can print to the library's copy machine, and then all I have to do is go into the library and swipe my library card and add money, and my print jobs come up, so I can do it from home, from work, from wherever, and then go in and you know, just kind of log into the copy machine. So that I thought was brilliant. That's a really cool thing that I hadn't seen before. Yeah, so.
So there you go. Oh, thank you. So it's already afternoon, so we need to wrap things up. Gerard had mentioned that he knows that there's a motorcycle race next year, the Isle of Wight. Oh, I thought it was WHIT. Oh, interesting. Anyway, so I don't know how you knew that, but anyway, we thank you so much for joining us remotely like this. This is nice. This is what we can do when we do online things. We can bring you back, no matter where you are in the world. So that's wonderful. I'm going to be ending the recording, and